Hello again. Hello. Hey, what's up, y'all? So last time we were uh we were chatting and doing this YouTube thing. I think I talked about staying motivated and stuff like that. Um, this time I think I'm gonna still piggyback off of that a little bit, just inspiration and motivation, and also some digital inking as well. Um, I'm doing this skull here and roses or peonies or something like that, a samurai skull type dude thing. It was originally for, or it still can be, a tattoo design, but I'm not sure what I'll do with it. I'm thinking I will do a free ebook on how to digital ink with it and probably give it away to the subscribers. You good people. And I don't know, maybe a free, just a digital ink of it, so people could do whatever they want with it. Um, and throughout this video, I slowed some stuff down, so this is a little longer video. I got some time to go over actually how I digital ink. So I'll probably be bouncing back and forth with the whole inspiration and motivation type thing, while I talk about how I digital ink and what my process is. So yeah, back to just inspiration and motivation. I get a kick out of whenever I get a message and someone sends me stuff saying how much I've uh, inspired them or motivated them to pick up the pencil again or to draw. Um, I think it's pretty awesome. It's a great feeling to help someone find their passion or love or with whatever it is that they find joy in doing, and you somehow have a part in helping them find that again. Um, it's a really, really good feeling. Um, and, vice versa. I'll tell people pretty much the same thing, either my mentors or something like that, how much they inspire me to keep going and how they motivate me. And I'm sure they have someone, and it's just, you know, the universe, humans helping each other just get better at what we do. So um, it's probably important to have those type of people surrounding you and in your life, and that they're positive. Obviously, nobody dissing you or saying you suck at something, but finding those people and keeping them in your life and stuff like that. I think that's one of the key aspects of staying inspired and motivated. I think looking at the video, it slowed down some now, so it's no longer time lapsing. So it talk a little bit about my process here of how I go about digital inking. So most of the time, and I'll probably shoot for about 75 to 80% of the time, I have already drawn the picture on paper. So I'm still, I wouldn't say so heavy traditional as I was, as a youngin', um, but I'm still very heavy. I like traditional. I like the pencil hitting the paper. But as far as digital inking, I will already have it drawn on paper, and then I'll scan it in at probably like 300 DPI. For those that don't know, DPI is dots per inch. And it's just a high res, so you can kind of zoom in really tight and still have clean lines or whatever. So I'll do that first. And then with this program, so I use two programs for doing this. For all the inks, the blacks that I'm doing now, I use an app called Sketchable, which is pretty good. It's for the Surface Pro. And then I also use Photoshop at the end to just drop some gradients and colors in. But after it's scanned in and imported into this application, there's a few tools at the bottom. So you have like a brush tool, an eraser tool, pen tool, pencil, and you kind of just find what you're comfortable with, and you go from there. Test them all out, see what kind of you get in a groove and what you feel good with, and yeah, just practice and go for it. There's no right or wrong into doing art, unless you're specifically wanting to do a perfect human or a perfect building or something like that. Then yeah, the laws of physics come in, and okay, that doesn't look right. But when you're designing your own stuff or doing whatever, have fun with it and practice. And so yeah, I've practiced with different brushes, different widths, and all that good stuff. And I think I am using the pen tool for the Sketchable app, and found out how to taper it off, and I have it all the way maxed out as far as the opacity on it. But you kind of just, again, figure stuff out and have fun with it. And so my strokes are very deliberate. As I'm looking at it now, and as I was looking at it prior to doing this video, or at least voicing over it, my strokes are always kind of deliberate, and I wouldn't say slow, but it's just thought out, methodical of how I want this pen stroke to be put down. And I think it's the same way with even when I'm using traditional medium. I've watched myself draw a lot, and each stroke is very thought provoked, and I want to make sure that it's going down and it'll be where I want it to be. And it just takes time and practice when you're doing that. Right now I'm kind of just filling in, I think right here, yeah, a deep black. So after you sketched around an area, you can grab a paint bucket tool, which is in this app or in Photoshop, and kind of just drop in a big area so you don't have to spend so much time filling in. And so there's different ways of shading as well, and I've done several different methods, but I like this one with inking, and it's kind of just what's the word I'm looking for, just kind of strokes, and where it starts when it's dark and then fades out to being lighter, I kind of just have a bunch of strokes, and they'll be really tight and close, and then I'll just kind of fade out and make the line work, spread out to show the dark from light or light from dark shadowing. You can, I guess, and I've never tried it, but I guess you can, ink several hundreds of different ways, kind of just like I would do if I had a pencil in my hand. I guess I can ink that same way and have the same shading effect, but I kind of like my ink style of what I do. It's more traditional of comic book inking style, so I'll probably stick with that until I practice and just have more fun with it, or unless a client wants something different, but I probably dragged um, this inking on, as far as making it very long and not speeding it back up. But I kind of want to really just let you guys see how and what I do when I ink, um, and not show so many um, time lapse. I mean, it'll go back into time lapse and kind of speed back up, but I also just wanted to show like some um, actual time, I guess, like not, like I was saying, not sped up video, but some actual where you can see each stroke being put down, and explaining kind of what I'm doing with the pen and stuff like that. So, and I think it's about to start speeding back up. So, I mean, it's not that fast that it'll pick back up, but you'll still be able to see the strokes and what's happening and stuff like that. And then kind of we can bounce back into some motivation and stuff. For me, another way is just doing a little a day, even if it's. I think last time I was saying, if I draw just like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon or some hands or something, just as long as I've gotten something out for, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes of me just drawing anything, whether I'm scribbling or doodling, like literal doodle too, like just a bunch of squiggly lines, that is some motivation for me to get me, whether I'm in a funk or just want to get started or warmed up or whatever. Like I stated earlier, helping other people is another thing that motivates me. Because I worked on and built up a following, for me, I know there's a lot of people that look forward to me doing what I do daily as well. So it'd be like, you know, your homeboy or your best friend or something, and, you know, you guys, whether you went to school together or something, and you go out and be like, man, where's Dave? Let's call him Dave. Where's Dave at? You know, Dave could be that person that helps you go to school every day, or, you know, as long as you know Dave is there, you're going to do it. I feel kind of like the same way, like, to a degree, I can't, you know, bog myself down, because there's just sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything either, but knowing that what I do inspires someone to hopefully pick up a craft or do something again, that's pretty motivating to me. So I try and do something, like I said, daily to help somebody. And if it's just, like I said, a little bit, as long as you do something a little bit a day, I don't want to sound corny, but the whole apple a day, do a little a day goes a long way or whatever, but I mean, it's true. If you save, you know, a nickel a day, by the end of the year, you'll have more, obviously, than what you had from when you started. So, a little a day definitely goes a long way. So, I was looking at, and I kind of like this guy, Jake Parker. He was saying something like, finish not perfect. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll I guess put a link at the bottom or something. But Jake Parker had a video where he done finish not perfect, and the whole thing behind that was he, you know, it might not be perfect the way you like it. You know, there's obviously learning curves, and you got to grow but at least it's finished and you started something. So that's also a lot of motivation for me. Finished, not perfect. So, um, and I'm learning just like you guys. So, um, by me finishing these videos and posting them, it's just one step closer to a goal of mine. Finishing a picture is one step closer. So, uh, whether it's drawing or whatever you're going for in life, you ain't gotta be perfect. Just start it and finish something, and just watch yourself grow. And then you never know who you're touching or motivating. And as I'm looking here, it looks like the video has sped up a little bit, as far as how I'm inking here. So yeah, it's the inking. I think I'm almost done. There's a few things here that I'm still looking at that will get some ink digitally, but so after this is done, Sketchable is pretty dope. As far as one, it's a lightweight app. It's not as heavy as Photoshop or like Illustrator or something like that. Two, once you get done whatever you're doing with, you can export these files in a Photoshop format, a PSD format. I think that's it. I'm not sure if you can do a Illustrator format, but I mean, Photoshop, from this to Photoshop, is quite enough and impressive for me of what I need to do. So I don't need to. I'm not heavy in Illustrator at all. I mean, I know it, but exporting to Photoshop is quite enough for me. So yeah, after that's done, you can export it in Photoshop and then open it in Photoshop, which I will be doing, I guess, shortly after I'm done here. And then you can, it saves it in layers if that's what you're doing. So on this one, I think I have just 2 layers, maybe 3, the background color, plus the line work, or the line art, and now the inks. So that's 3 layers. Once I save this out, there will be 3 layers when I open it up in Photoshop, which is pretty cool. And then, you kind of, if you're not familiar with Photoshop, you can add more layers or do whatever you want to do, add text and all that good stuff. I don't think you can add text in this program. Again, it's lightweight, but it's a really decent application if you have a Surface. I looked at a few things, and there was some stuff I forgot to erase and clean up on this, but I think I'm about to go into Photoshop now. Oh no, I have the left guard on his helmet to do really quick, but once I get there, I'll kind of explain a little bit of what I'm doing, because the inking process is done after that. I mean, I could mess with that inking layer and do some more, but I like the feel of Sketchable and what they have produced with their application. So I don't need to go any further by doing any more inking in Photoshop. And so, yeah, I think I'm done now that I look at it. Oh, I lied. My bad. And if I get quiet while the video is still going, just really nothing to say at that point. I would definitely love to hear what you guys got to say, though, like how you stay motivated, what you're actually doing. Like if you're an artist, I have a lot of people that follow me that aren't even artists, as far as wanting to draw or anything. They just different occupations, different skills, but something still motivates you, whether it's your kids or family member or something. Share it down in the comments. I try and reply back to everyone that has something to say, or it's not too much of a jerk, but share what motivates you, and somebody may get, some help out of that. What I can say is, like before, just keep going, keep pushing forward. Alright, so I jumped into Photoshop here, and now it's going to be really quick, so I don't want to hold up too much more time, but I kind of just threw some gradients on here, on the helmet, the face, and stuff like that. Pretty much just basic Photoshop skills. And yeah, I enjoy doing it. So that's my inking process, and just a tad bit of coloring. I got a Patreon if you guys want to support me there. Most of you probably follow me on Instagram already, but go there, support me at, just find me anywhere on social media as the Mad Penciler, and that's with 2 D's. As always, I appreciate you guys for hanging out. The love, the support, people who purchased the ebook. I do have more anatomy study and YouTube videos coming for that. It just takes a minute to get all that stuff, lined up and ready to go. So, again, appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out. We'll get back with you next week. Peace.